Hey everybody, Dallas again with Chaos Fragrances. Today we're back with another weekly fragrance rotation video. Been having a lot of fun doing these. As always, we're going to be going over the fragrances that I've worn throughout the past week. So before we jump into the video, first let me know down in the comments what fragrances you've worn the most this past week. Second thing is, if you're new here to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I post. One other thing really quick, I made a post over on the community tab of my channel basically asking you guys if there's any specific videos you want to see me do. You can comment over there if you have any ideas, or you can even just leave your comments down below this video. Any sort of video ideas, if you want any specific top 10 lists, if you want any battle videos where I put two fragrances together and compare them and say which one I like better, if you want to see certain specific fragrance reviews, which I do have a lot of fragrance reviews I have to get out. I've recorded quite a few of them. I got some ready to go, some I still have to do. So I've got a lot of fragrance reviews. I've also got a lot of list videos. So I do have plenty of content ready to go. But I also want to take a minute and stop and ask you guys if there's anything specific you want to see. I'm going to be doing some winter related content and lists coming up soon, just because here where I live, it's basically winter. We just got snow again today. It's down to like 15 degrees outside right now. So probably going to be doing a winter starting lineup here pretty soon, and we're also going to be doing some other winter type lists. Even though it's not officially winter for a while, still I'm going to kind of start moving into that just because I'm freezing my ass off here. So enough talking, let's go ahead and jump right into this weekly fragrance rotation, starting off with what I wore on Wednesday. That fragrance was Mancera Cedrat Boise. So this is one of my personal favorite fragrances to wear in the cooler months when I want something a little bit fresh. Fresh fragrances are my thing. I love my citrus fragrances. I love my kind of semi-sweet, fresh type of scents. Problem is, once it starts to get cold, those tend to not work very well. They don't perform very good, they don't project very good, and they also don't really develop in the cooler weather. Typically citrus and lighter, fresher fragrances need warm weather to help them develop and to help them, really fully come alive on your skin. So when I'm craving a nice, fresh, citrus, fruity fragrance for during the cooler months, Cedrat Boise is my #1 go-to. I love this scent. This is my first ever niche fragrance purchase, so this one holds a special place in my heart. And not only that, but it's still, to this day, just one of my favorites to wear when it's cool outside and I want something a little bit fresh. So again, I wore this one on Wednesday, and I went with 3 sprays on my skin. I always usually just do it right here on the side of my neck, right over here, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the screen, and then right here on the front of my neck. That's kind of typically what I do for 3 sprays, and that's all I need with this scent. It always works great. Even 2 sprays a lot of times is enough, but since it was a little bit colder, I went with 1 extra. On Thursday, I went with Bentley for Men Intense. So I've been wearing this fragrance a ton lately, and you've probably seen that. You've seen this in a lot of my videos. You've seen this in my weekly fragrance rotations. This has kind of become one of those fragrances that I just wear a lot, just because it's easy for me to. It's easy for me to grab this one and spray it on. It's easy because it smells so good and it's just so pleasant. It's also something that's quite a bit unique for me. This one really has a nice edge to it. It's got a really nice masculine touch, a bit of a mature smell as well, which I do like for something a little bit different, just kind of compared to a lot of the new releases lately. Really just a nice one, and it's a cheap fragrance too. It comes in at like $30 or so, which is really competitive, really nice price. It doesn't break the bank, and for $30 you get a really nice high quality scent with a nice unique touch to it. So I really love and respect this fragrance. With this one, I went with only 2 sprays because I was indoors for most of the day on Thursday, and this fragrance is pretty strong. So 2 sprays was enough for me. And that simply was just on each side of my neck like that. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. If I was going to go outside more, especially now that it's getting cold, I would go with more sprays, probably 3, maybe 4. But indoors, only went with 2, and it worked out great. That is Bentley for Men Intense. On Friday, I went with Dior Homme Intense. So I always love breaking this fragrance out once it starts to get cold outside. There's something about this one that is just so warming for me. It's so soothing for me. And it really just makes me feel like warm and comfortable when it's freezing outside. So I wore this one on Friday because it was cold. This is one of my older bottles, which you may be able to tell because the fragrance color itself is just a little bit darker. This bottle, I believe, is from 2014, like early 2014, and this falls within, I believe, it falls within one of the formulations that has a decent amount of cocoa or cacao in it. The reformulation after that, they take a lot of that out. So this one of my older bottles, this one's a little bit more sweet, a little bit more heavy, a little bit more chocolatey, creamy, powdery. Really love Dior Homme Intense though, regardless of which batch or formulation it is. One of my personal favorite scents, and it's one that really got me into liking iris fragrances because that's something I never would have liked before. In terms of sprays with this one, I went with 3. And again, I was inside for most of the day on Friday. I work from home, so, people ask why I don't talk about compliments. I mean, if you count me complimenting myself, then yeah, I got a lot of compliments from this fragrance. But other than that, just unless I go out, which isn't every day, kind of will depend. That's why I typically don't touch on compliments. That's also why I don't usually touch on sprays. But someone did request that I talked about the number of sprays, so I'm doing that. Sprays on this one, I went with, again, 3. And again, it's the same routine as I did earlier, just 2 or 1 on each side of the neck, 1 on the front. I really like doing the 1 on the front just so that it makes it easier for me to smell the fragrance, as long as it's not a fragrance that causes olfactory fatigue on me, like a lot of the blue fragrances and aventus and things like that. Those cause olfactory fatigue. I won't spray the front, but on fragrances like this and like many others which don't make me go nose blind, I will spray the front of my body. It helps me to get more whiffs of the scent, which is really what I'm after at the end of the day, so I can personally enjoy it. On Saturday, I went with Ultra Male. So this scent, this one is really, really nice. And, I've talked about this one a lot. Did a full dedicated video on if I still think this one is worth picking up in 2019. I also talk about like the reformulations and stuff. And I also re-reviewed it because this is, believe it or not, one of the first fragrances that I ever reviewed on my channel and one of the first videos that I ever put out on my channel. So, that review may or may not be really all that good. So I wanted to touch on it again here in 2019, updated, because I did sell my original bottle and I got this one because I missed it just within the past few months. So Ultra Male, wore this one on Saturday. Always love wearing Ultra Male. Number of sprays on this one, I went with 2. Again, this one is strong, so much more than that. If I'm going to be indoors, it's just going to be too much. It's going to start to get annoying. Going outdoors, going to certain events is a different story. I may go with a few extra, but 2 really gets the job done for me for most of when I'm wearing the scent. And again, this is a personal fragrance for me. My girlfriend does not like this one at all. It's way too sweet and kind of goes in the feminine direction to where she doesn't like it, at least on me. So yeah, I don't wear this one for her. I just wear it basically for myself. That's what I wore on Saturday. That is Ultra Male. On Sunday, I went with Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche Pour Homme. So I love Rive Gauche. Love, love, love this scent. Ever since I've gotten it within the past month or so. I got it sometime last month. I've already done a full review on this scent and all that good stuff. Featured it in some other videos as well. This one took me a while to pick up. Originally, I was really looking for one of the vintage tin can versions, which I just couldn't find at a price I was willing to pay. So I ended up settling on this reformulated version that's in the La Collection line. And this one has also been kind of changed around as well. If you look on Fragrantica and on most of the pictures online, it's going to have a black type of thing around it, which I think looks much better than this completely clear bottle. I don't know why they changed it again. I wish I had one of the bottles that was black around it, or even the tin can version, because that one's black too. It looks nice. Again, this isn't bad. It looks all right, and the color of the fragrance is slightly greenish, so it does look kind of cool. But yeah, I wish it was the other bottle. I don't know why they changed it, but I'm not too worried about it because the scent itself is incredible. I was really worried that it was going to be weak or watered down or not have good performance, but this one, very strong performance on my skin. Longevity-wise, 8-9 hours, really nice projection as well. On this one, I went with 3 sprays, which is typically what I'll do with this one as well. If I go too much more, it can honestly start to get a little bit annoying. So this one does have good strength, good performance. 3 is typically what I'll go with, sometimes maybe 2, kind of somewhere around in that range. But regardless, I love this scent. Really nice throwback, classic barbershop fougere type of fragrance, which I've been loving lately. I'm going to be having a top 10 favorite fougere fragrances video coming up soon. I got to pick up a few more things and get that list put together, but it is coming. That is Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche on Sunday. On Monday, I went with Carner Barcelona Elborn. So I went with this warm beast on Monday, and the reason why is because it was very, very cold on Monday. I wanted something that was warm, sweet, cozy smelling, and this fragrance did the trick. I love wearing the scent. Really, really nice vanilla, honey, sweet, balsamic fragrance. This one to me is a masterpiece. This is one where when I tried it the first time, I fell in love with it. I couldn't get enough of it. I had just a small, like 2 ml sample that I just wore, and it's gone, and I had to get a bottle. Ended up with a few bottles now, and I enjoy the scent a lot. It's like a nice boozy, alcohol-y type of vanilla. Comes across very nice, very smooth. Projection on this one is not good. It really doesn't project. It sits very, very close to the skin. Longevity is pretty decent though. I don't have really any complaints with the longevity. Projection just isn't good. So the number of sprays I did with this one was 4. I did 1 on each side of the neck, and then I did 2 on the front. So did 2 on the front instead of 1 on the front and 1 on the back. Again, mostly so I can smell it more. The 1 on the back isn't going to help me to smell it. That's more for leaving a scent trail, which I wasn't concerned about doing. I wanted to smell it for myself, so I did go with a couple extra on the front. That's typically what I'll do with this one. If it projected just a little bit better, it would make me love the scent even more, which is hard to say because I do love it so much already, but projection leaves a little bit to be desired, but still the scent itself is beautiful. That's what I wore on Monday. And finally, on Tuesday, I went with Creed Viking. So, Viking, one of my favorites from Creed, believe it or not, and it's one that does get a little bit of hate in the community, or at least it did when it first came out. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really hear too many people talk about Viking, so, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I do really enjoy Viking. Do I like it more than Aventus? No. Do I like it more than, some other creeds? Some of them, yes. Others, no. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head right now. But I do really enjoy Viking. And in terms of Creed's cooler weather offerings, one of my personal favorites. It's up there with Spice and Wood and a couple others. I like Royal Oud, but I don't like Royal Oud as much as I used to. Kind of got just a little bit bored of that one. I do prefer this one over Royal Oud. Spice and Wood, and that's one of my favorites as well. That's just a pure luxury and class smelling fragrance. Viking is really nice though, one of my personal favorites. But yeah, I wore this one today just because I enjoy it. I always love wearing it. Number of sprays I went with was 3. So again, you kind of see a trend here. I typically don't change it up too much. Anywhere from 2 to 4 is kind of my general thing. Just went with 3 on this one. Same spray technique as usual. So guys, that was it for this video. That was my weekly fragrance rotation. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have been wearing the past week. And again, any video ideas you want to see me do and knock out, either leave it down below in the comments on this video or head over to that community post on the community tab and you can leave your comment there. Even if you see someone comment an idea and it's the same idea you had, still comment it because that will help show me that that idea is wanted by a lot of people. Also, feel free to go through the comments and like comments that you want to see me do as well. If you see someone comment a good idea and you want to see that, like it, because typically the highest voted comments are going to be the ones that I'm going to prioritize because I know a lot of people want to see it. Of course, I'm going to look at all your ideas. I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to write all of them down and I'm going to get to them at some point. It may be a while. If you comment something, maybe I won't get to it until next month or anything, maybe even a month after that. So, because I got a lot of stuff. So if you comment something and you don't see me do it, I'm not blowing off your idea. It's just kind of backlogged. I got to get it out eventually. So guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below, turn on post notifications, and that's going to do it, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Take care.